So when you think about today's hyper-connected digital world, your online presence, well, it often speaks volumes, doesn't it? Long before you even get a chance to say anything.
It really does.
But here's the real question for your business, I think.
Yeah.
Are you actually building on solid ground? Or is your digital foundation maybe more like, quicksand?
That's the perfect way to frame it.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into something that might seem small, a detail maybe, but it turns out it's a surprisingly non-negotiable asset,
Hmm.
especially for building credibility online.
That's exactly right. And for this deep dive, we've been looking at, well, a bunch of interesting sources. One of them is this article with a pretty provocative title, If You Don't Have a Website Domain, You're a Scammer.
Whoa, okay. That's bold.
It is bold, and we're definitely going to unpack why someone would say that, why that perception even exists.
Okay, let's definitely unpack this,
Yeah.
because our mission today really
Mm.
is to understand why a simple website domain is so crucial. Not just for trust, but for actual success, particularly in, say, B2B spaces, business to business.
Hmm.
And also, maybe understand the real cost, the often hidden cost, if you don't have one.
Yep.
It's way more than just having a URL, isn't it?
Absolutely. Much more.
So let's kick off with this fundamental idea. It seems obvious maybe, but maybe not, that a domain name, which is like a minimal cost,
Tiny cost.
actually brings maximum credibility. Can you walk us through that, the power of that little bit of digital real estate?
Yeah, precisely. I mean, think about it. Owning your domain, what does it cost? Maybe $20 a year,
Right.
which is, like you said, often less than people spend on coffee in a month.
Easily.
So it's not really a cost. It's more like staking a legitimate claim on the internet, saying, I'm here, I'm real.
Okay.
And in professional settings, especially B2B, a website isn't just, nice to have. It's fundamental proof you're legitimate. It's what partners expect to see.
It's table stakes.
Exactly. Table stakes. We call it the trust equation, sort of. No domain often means no credibility, which means no trust. And that leads to, well, no serious business opportunities. It's like trying to run a physical store with no address. Or no business card even. It just signals you're not quite serious. Or maybe not even real.
That connection's powerful physical address, web address.
But hang on. We hear so much noise, don't we? Especially from, social media gurus.
Oh, yeah?
Pushing this free marketing idea. You don't need a website. It sounds really easy, really appealing if you're just starting out. Where's the catch? Where's the trap there?
Well, it does sound appealing, right? And that's exactly why the social platforms push it so hard. They promote free marketing, no website needed, mainly because it helps them. It grows their user base, drives their ad revenue. Their focus is on volume likes, followers, shares,
Vanity metrics sometimes?
often vanity metrics,
Yeah.
not your business credibility, not your long-term success. And what's really fascinating and risky is when those platforms change things.
Which they always do.
They always do. Algorithms shift, policies change, and bam, your visibility can just vanish overnight.
Wow.
So relying only on social media, it's like building your entire business on rented land.
Okay. And the landlord can just evict you whenever they feel like it, without much notice. You don't own it. You don't control the rules. You don't really own your audience connection.
I hear you on that rented land analogy. It's really sticky.
Yeah.
But practically speaking, what about a brand new startup, like zero capital?
Yeah.
Isn't that rented land the only place they can even start to get seen?
That's a fair question. And yes, for absolute zero budget visibility, social media can be that first step, no doubt.
Okay.
But, and this is the key, it has to be seen as temporary, like a launch pad, not the final destination.
Right, not the permanent home.
Exactly. The advice has to be pivot fast. Even a super simple one-page website on a cheap domain gives you instant legitimacy that social media just can't match. It shows you're moving from just being present to being a business. You build that basic page quickly, maybe in weeks, while you're still using social for that initial noise. The goal is get off that rented land ASAP.
Got it.
Because the risk of staying too long, it just skyrockets compared to the convenience.
That makes sense. A temporary launch pad, not the storefront. Okay, so we've talked about the feeling of trust, the perception. But what about the numbers? What does the actual data say about these first impressions online? Gut feelings are one thing, but the research.
Oh, the data is incredibly clear. And honestly, it's quite alarming if you don't have that solid digital footprint. Research consistently shows how vital a professional website is. For instance, one study found 94% of first business impressions relate directly to website design and professionalism. 94%.
Wow, that high.
Yeah, that's from Trustpilot just last year. And here's the really wild part, how fast that judgment happens.
How fast?
Studies show users form an opinion about a site's credibility in about 50 milliseconds.
50 milliseconds, that's nothing.
It's literally less than a blink of an eye. So your domain, your site, it's your first handshake happening at warp speed.
Incredible.
And it's not just looks. 75% of buyers say clear contact info, transparent policies, updated content that builds trust right away.
Makes sense.
But the flip side is also true. And this is a big one for B2B. 88% of decision makers see the absence of a website, or just a really poor site, as major red flags, warning signs.
88%, that's huge.
It's huge. So the numbers don't just support the idea, they shout it. Your website is your most critical trust asset online. It's what stops people thinking, maybe subconsciously, is this person a scammer? And makes them think, okay, this is a serious operation.
That 50 millisecond thing is sticking with me. It's not just if you have one, but the immediate vibe it gives off.
Okay, so if that's general impressions, what about those really serious B2B buyers? Are they really looking past a slick Instagram feed when big money's on the line?
Absolutely not. No way. In fact, one of the sources we looked at quoted a Fortune 500 procurement director. Pretty blunt.
What'd they say?
They said, show me your website before you show me your pitch deck. If you don't have one, we're done here.
Ouch. Direct.
Very direct. Serious buyers, they vet suppliers methodically. And their first stop is usually the company website, not social media. So what are they looking for on the website that they can't get from, say, a detailed LinkedIn profile or even the pitch deck itself?
They're looking for signs of stability. Professionalism that signals you're in it for the long haul.
Okay.
Clear contact details, sure, but also operational substance. A well-designed, informative site shows you've invested in your business. It implies stability, accountability.
Right.
Without it, you look unprepared, maybe flaky, or just not trustworthy enough for someone managing a real budget. They aren't impressed by follower counts. They need to see a stable, professional partner.
That quote is tough, but feels very real for anyone in B2B sales. It's not just what you spend, but what you lose by not having it. So let's talk about those hidden costs, the things people might not even realize they're losing out on by not having a website.
Yeah, the hidden cost, they're substantial, and often way more than the tiny cost of a domain and basic site.
Like what?
Okay, first, immediate rejection. Potential clients find out you don't have a credible site, and they just bounce, they leave.
And you never know.
That's the scary part. They usually won't tell you why. You just never hear back. It's a silent killer of opportunities.
Is there any way to even know that's happening? Or is it just silence?
Mostly silence. And that's the danger. You don't get the feedback to fix it.
Wow. Okay, what else?
Second, competitor advantage. Your competitors, even the ones with just a basic, decent website, they're winning trust, landing contracts much more easily while you're still struggling just to seem legit.
They're playing a different game.
Exactly, a higher level game. And third, and this one's insidious, reputation damage.
How so?
Well, having no website can signal you're an amateur or not really committed, maybe even temporary or untrustworthy.
Yeah.
And that perception, it can stick around, damaging your reputation even after you finally get a site built.
That makes sense.
So the opportunity cost the business you never even knew you could have had genuinely dwarfs the small investment needed for a professional online presence. You're losing money you didn't even know was potentially yours.
That really hits home. Losing opportunities you're completely unaware of.
Okay, so for someone listening right now, maybe thinking, okay, I get it. I need to do something. What are the quick practical steps? How do you establish this credibility without getting totally overwhelmed? You don't need some massive complex site right away, do you?
Not at all. That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
You don't need a $10,000 custom site on day one. You just need something professional that shows you're serious.
Okay, so what are the steps?
I'd break it down into 3 key things.
Mm-hmm.
First, secure your domain. Go register a domain name that reflects your business. Make it professional. Then, build a simple, professional-looking website.
Yeah.
Use templates from Squarespace, Wix, whatever. Or hire someone for a basic build if you prefer. It doesn't need bells and whistles initially.
Got it. Step 2.
Step 2,
Mm-hmm.
include trust signals. This is critical. Clear contact information, phone, email, maybe an address. An about page explaining who you are, what you do, your expertise.
Transparent policies, if applicable. And, really important, authentic testimonials or case studies from happy clients. Proof.
Social proof. Makes sense. And third,
Third, maintain relevance. Keep the content reasonably current. An occasional blog post, news update, maybe refresh project examples.
Yeah.
Because, and this is important, an obviously abandoned, outdated website, that can almost be worse than having none at all. It signals neglect.
Good point. So abandoned is bad.
Yeah. The goal isn't perfection, it's professionalism and showing you're active and relevant.
That feels really actionable.
Yeah.
Demystifies it a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, but related to this idea of professionalism. One of the more controversial points in the source material was about experts who've stopped offering free discovery calls.
Ah, yes, that part.
How does that connect back to website credibility and showing you're serious?
Well, it connects very directly. It's about filtering, essentially, separating the genuinely serious prospects from, frankly, the time wasters. The rationale behind it is pretty stark. The experts argue that free consultations consistently attract people who aren't actually willing or able to invest, either in themselves or their business.
Right. They're just kicking tires.
Exactly. And the argument gets even blunter. If someone can't manage the, say, $20 a year for a domain to present themselves professionally, they almost certainly can't afford the kind of professional services that actually deliver significant results.
So the website, or lack thereof, becomes a proxy for seriousness.
Precisely. It's a signal. So for these experts, their time, which is their most valuable asset, is reserved only for clients who demonstrate commitment. And professional presentation, like having a credible website, is part of that demonstration. It shows they value expertise enough to invest. It acts as a filter.
Interesting perspective. Tough, maybe, but I can see the logic. So bringing this all together as we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
it really sounds like a website isn't just, an optional extra anymore.
Not at all. It's fundamental. It's your business identity online, a non-negotiable piece of the puzzle in today's economy.
That's the absolute core message. The perception reality, as we called it earlier, is just undeniable now. Without a website, you risk being invisible to the people you most want to reach.
Or worse.
Or worse, yeah. Perceived as amateur, maybe even fraudulent. That small investment, that $20 a year, whatever it is, it's the clearest signal you can send that you're serious about your business. That you're ready for professional relationships, for real contracts.
It's more than just the URL, it's the signal.
It signals readiness for real business, real partnerships, real growth.
So I guess the final thought then isn't really whether you can afford a website. It's whether you can truly afford not to have one. Maybe it's time to tune out the noise about free this and easy that from fleeting trends. And focus on building actual, tangible credibility. Own your domain. Because when you own your domain, you really start to own your business future.